welcome to Let's Talk with Victory. I'm Leisha Lee. We want to thank you for tuning in today. Feel free to share, like, or comment about our topics today because we want to know what you think too. And we want to take this time. First ladies, hello. Good to see you all today. And we want to welcome missionary nurse Cherie Babbitt. I had to put all your titles down.
Welcome.
Thank you for being here with us today. We're so excited. I'm so excited. I don't know about y'all.
I'm excited.
But today, our topic, ladies, our topic is from a woman's perspective. So to our viewers, don't jump on the camera, don't jump on the screen, don't try to punch nothing. This is only from our perspective, a woman's perspective. There are no males on the show. Just had to put that disclaimer out there. But the first question I have for you all today, do men and women have the same requirements in family? What you think?
I think it depends on the actual relationship. I'm just going to speak from my experience in my relationship. We do. I think we have the same mindset, the same goals. Well, not mindset, but the same goals as far as we both want our child to be established now and in the future, financially, mentally, physically. We both want the bills to be paid. We both want each other to succeed and do well. We both have the main interest. We both have the main interest, and the most important part, the interest of each other as well as ourselves. So I think for us, we do have the same values and different things for the relationship. We want to progress, and we want a better future. And I think that has to be established prior to even being in a relationship, because if it's not established, then we don't have a relationship. Because it's not going to go anywhere.
Now, when you're talking about requirements, I'm going to play devil's advocate on this, because you have that interchangeable word of requirements versus responsibilities. Okay. Now, requirements, because there are so many different types of relationships, with a male and a female, that's what I'm talking about, male and a female relationship, that when you talk about the requirements, what are your requirements in this relationship when it pertains to you and I? What are your requirements in this relationship when it pertains to involving our children, if there are children involved? So that's a different conversation than what it would be. What are our responsibilities in the relationship as a man or a woman? So going back to the requirements expectation, I think this should be balanced, to be honest. I think the requirements of a relationship should be something that is discussed between the male and the female, that one person has more on their plate to do to build that relationship or to maintain that relationship than the other. That's just my personal opinion about it.
So I not kind of agree, but I do agree with Marcella. I think that so requirements and responsibilities are different, and I think that initially, when you're in a relationship, especially like when you're talking about a male and a woman and you have a family, I think that ultimately everybody is trying to meet this goal, and then you break that down. Well, how do you get to that goal? And then you come up with, different ways and different roles and tasks that a woman may do or a male may do, but it's ultimately, and that's the requirement to meet that goal. And then, so I think that all kind of tie in together, but everybody have a different task. I can't do everything that a male can do. Mm-hmm. And I know that a male can't do everything that I can do. Right. But ultimately, together, we come together and we meet that overall goal to take care of family or whatever it is that we place forth that we want to have.
See, I agree with that. I think it's compliment. It's about being a compliment. Like, you can't do everything, but the 30% of this that you can do, bring the full intensity to that 30%. He's going to end up doing 70. He should bring that 70. Like, I think it should balance out. I think the requirements should be about, I guess if you answer the question, yes, the requirement is the same. Bring the same energy, bring the same intensity, bring the same value to the part that you play. And it doesn't mean that the one person has to do 100% all the time. It should work in segments. Like, if he's good at finances, then you take the lead there. You do the bigger percentage there. I do my 100% by bringing my money. You do, maybe that's the 30. Let him do the 70%, which is figuring out where the investments go, figuring out how much to save. I think we balance each other out in that respect.
And if I could add, it's not a competition.
Right.
So if it's something in his 70 that he may slip upon, or something in her 30 that she might slip with, then they should support one another so that everything is met and nothing is lacking.
Yeah, I think when it comes to requirements, we're all saying that the requirements should basically be the same, but the roles are different to reach the requirement. And so I think for families, requirements should be the same. Your family requirements probably should be the same, what you require for your family, but the roles are different in how to get there. Now, for you in the family, and for your child in the family, or for your husband in the family, or whoever, it will be a different requirement personally.
Right.
But for the family, I believe that it should be the same, but the role that you play to get to what you require is different.
Yes, that's what I was saying, right, the same goal, the same common goal. It's not gonna work to me, in my opinion. We have to be on the same page.
Okay, so as times are changing, a lot of people are trying to make everything equal between men and women. Do you feel, in terms of let me slow down some. In terms of men and women, do you think equality is possible or actually happening? That could be in the workplace, that could be in families, that could be like wherever.
I think it's possible. It is possible. Does it have to? Does a woman have to do everything a man does, and a man have to do everything a woman does? I don't think so. I don't feel that way. I don't feel like, if that's your gift and if that's your role, if a woman wants to be a truck driver, yes, but you don't have to do that. But to be equal in it, a lot of mindsets have to change. I think that people are saying, yes, we are equal, yes, we are this, but a lot of mindsets still have to change. Sometimes it's just, on the forefront that it's equal, but is it really deep down inside, even when it comes to career? Deep down inside, is it equal? Is it equal with the pay? Is it equal what they offer you as opposed to what they offer someone else? I think that right there is, we're still working on it.
And I'm gonna just throw this out there. Like a lot of people, I feel like some people say that they want to be equal, but it's like, do you really want to be equal, or do you want to just choose what part you want to be equal in? And I feel like, I'm not going to just say like women, but just in my experience, I see a lot of women do that. For me, if I'm gonna say I'm equal, I want to be equal in everything. But not saying that I want to be equal in everything, but I'm just saying, like, if I was to throw it out there, I would want to be equal in everything. But I feel like I see more women say that they want to be equal, but then you want to be choosy on what you want to do. So do you really want to be equal?
Right.
That's good.
I think that too goes to mindset. Like, I think it's been ingrained, or even with legislation. Okay, equal rights, equal rights. So a woman now has this, is in this position of saying, yes, I want the same, that men have. But when they meet that work or meet that requirement, it's really something different than what was projected. I feel like, the feminist movement of the 70s that really encouraged women to get outside of the household and work, kind of did us a disservice. Like, it's backwards now, where so much, women are outside of the home working so much more. And I think we're seeing now the long-term effect, or at least 2 or 3 generations of effect that's had on families. So like that fight for equality, equal for what? When men and women were really designed to do different roles and different functions.
I would have to agree, Lavelle, especially when you are in a leadership role, whether it's education or in the business community. What I'm seeing now is, if you are a manager or a principal or a leader, and with a staff, and you are female, and you say something in reference to your staff to do something in the best interest of the whole community environment, then why is the female's authoritative word oftentimes questioned? Well, why is she doing it this way? She could have done it that way. But in reverse, if a male says the same exact thing and presents the same information, then it's okay, let's go forth and do it. So I believe, just like you were saying, Cherie, that the mindset has to change, and the perspective of male versus woman roles and leadership would have to get better and grow with how you feel a woman leader should be able to speak and act upon her leadership role versus a male.
And I think men too feel that scrutiny. Like they can't come out and say, well, she's not as good as, or they don't necessarily respect or honor a specific woman in leadership because, you know, paperwork says, the rules say, you know, our corporate guidelines, whatever, say that, you know, we have to, you know, have this equal footing. But I don't think, you know, they can't say it, but I think the mindset is still there that, you know, maybe in some instances a woman still has to prove herself.
Do y'all think it has anything to do with like emotions, like a woman's emotions versus a man's emotions when it comes to equality?
I think that a lot of times when people see a woman leader or a woman, someone, they're like, oh gosh, this is going to be emotional. Right. Oh gosh, everything we say to her is going to rub her the wrong way. So I think that that gives all of us a bad look because one person, and yes, women are emotional. That's the way I believe we are created, yes. And we have to learn how to tame that. But every woman that is looking for equality, or every woman that's looking to have a job that per se a man has, is not going to wreck it because of their emotions. But I think because women are so emotional, we will get the back burner because we don't need the emotions in this. We just need the job done.
Yeah.
You know?
And then I think just on the flip side of that, you know, a woman can look at it like, oh God, is a male here, so they're going to be emotionless. And I feel like depending on the situation, you need that emotion. You need to be sensitive to, you know, your team, depending on if it's in the workforce, like depending on what's going on. So I think it's the flip side, like a woman could say the opposite.
I think too, women tend to overcompensate in that area because they're going to be perceived as emotional, so they come through very assertive or very direct to try to kind of minimize the stereotype of women being emotional. And two, I would say men are emotional. They may be better at masking it, but I think they have a lot of the same internal thoughts or struggles that we have, but it's not really honored or acceptable for them to communicate them outwardly or to demonstrate their emotions outwardly.
Let me ask y'all this. Do y'all think a man can be with a woman who makes more money than him?
Yes.
And mic drop.
I've actually experienced that previously before my relationship now, my married relationship. I was making more money than a guy, and it was like he had a little bit of bitterness and hostility against me, you know. But I think also the main thing, if that happens, that a woman shouldn't throw it up in a man's face, and they have to realize and not let the man feel inferior and that they are superior. So I think it has to be balanced, and the main thing is, regardless of the income, the woman exceeded a man's income, I think that the man is still the household. He's still the head of the household, you know, so you shouldn't make him feel a certain way. But I experienced that, and it was kind of crazy, too, because it was like I was playing like a mom role. Not that I was taking care of him, but the way he looked at me, like, I'm like, no, well, you have to go back to your mom. Yeah, so, sorry, but bye.
You have to go back to your mom.
And I agree with everything she said, but I also think, like what we touched on before, is a mindset. So when you're in a relationship, you know, it's how a male perceive it. If he perceives like, okay, you know, this is my wife, or, you know, we're in a relationship and, you know, my wife is making more income than me, but, you know, at the same time, like, he's still superior, and, you know, the woman is still giving him leeway to lead the house. I mean, at the end of the day, you're bringing the money in to take care of home. You're bringing that money in to take care of family. So I think, too, if both sides, both roles can just change their mindset to work towards, you know, and just know that no matter who's bringing in the most money, you know, play your position, then I think it would be.
And I think the issue comes with the misconception that it's his money, her money, and we have gone far, far away from when you are unified as one, that it's everyone's money.
Yes.
It's the household's money. So what if she is the contributor of the higher amount? He is the contributor of whatever amount that he's bringing in. And as you all said, it's coming in the household and it's building the household. So who cares who's the contributor? Because the ultimate benefit is going to be for the entire household.
I don't know. Is not the breadwinner the boss? Like, if you bring the
No.
If you bring the money, I think, you know, you need to have a stake in driving the decisions. Yes, ultimately we should have the same goals. We should be on the same page. have the same, destination we're trying to get to. But that means that that person is putting out a certain level of effort, energy, sometimes outside of the home. So then to do that and then kind of turn that over to another partner who may not have made those same sacrifices, may not have those same skills, is that really
No,
doable?
I don't think so.
And I'm gonna ask, it's a legit
mean,
question.
I don't look at it that way, because if I'm working and I'm bringing more money in the house, and like you said, if I'm out the house, then he's in the house, obviously he's doing something. And I feel like if I'm bringing in more money, and I'm saying that we're taking care of home, he should have just as much as decision
Right.
on how we use the money, no matter who brings in the money.
Exactly.
Just because I'm bringing in the money, I don't feel like I should say, like, I control everything and just give him a little
Right.
bit. If we're in this relationship and we're saying we're partners, we're gonna do this together. And just like I have say, you have say.
And
So
for
it
me-
does come back to 50-50. So back to our original question, we were trying to say, like, okay, well, this person may be better at me in this area, and this other person may be less, but complement. But now it needs to be equal.
But if you're out the house to get that money, he's in the house, and your task may be different. You're out, you're working to bring in that money, but who's taking care of the kids? Who's cooking? Who's doing this while you're out the house? And just because you're not that you're out the, I'm just bringing you out the scenario. I'm just saying, like, I mean, your role might be different and his role may be different. So it's still kind of bringing that balance. Money is not everything. I feel like money is not, money isn't everything, so it still needs to be that balance. Yes, I'm out, I'm making the money, I'm working, I'm outside of the house doing things to bring in that money, but who's taking care of the house inside?
house.
And
Like children.
right, sorry. I would say too, for a relationship, especially in a marriage, I wouldn't use the term boss. For us, both of us are bosses, Louis. You're not the boss of me, I'm not the boss of you, but we have that main respect for each other. So I wouldn't use that term of saying a boss. I don't think, I think that's when sometimes relationships could go wrong, because women could, I'm the boss, or a man could turn it around to, I'm the boss. No, we should have the same mindset, going back to the first question of the goals and things like that and values. But I don't want to use that term. I don't care if I'm making 90% and he's making 10. I'm not still going to consider myself the boss. I'm just going to consider myself, I'm making more, so I'm able to contribute more. And with your 10%, you bring it. So that's just my opinion.
Right. And it goes back again to communication, how the husband and wife come together as a whole to discuss the needs and the wants of the family. And if that is consistent, and then also, because we are women of faith, understanding that if the man is in alignment with God and he's leading his household, that everything else is going to fall into place in a real perfect world, right? But I think what's happening is, because we are in a society where women basically have been the boss of themselves and not having to rely on that partnership and that other opinion, then that's when we go into that tug of war when we do get into a relationship, because now I've been doing this all by myself and figuring it out, and it's been working, but now I have to incorporate you in it. So it's just a process of continual communication and being able to be truthful and trustworthy with one another of how you want your family to run.
And that's where that word comes from. Well, I'm a strong black woman. And women sometimes don't understand what's saying that. That can make a relationship go awry. It can actually revert and divert a man to not want to be in that relationship, because I'm a strong black woman. Okay, well, you continue to be strong and continue to be the woman, but I'm not going to be with you. So it's something like you have to open up a certain door to allow the man to come in. Okay, I recognize that you're strong as a man. I recognize this, recognize that, but I'm here too, so what am I able to fill? And you have to allow that man to fill that. So just with that mindset, I'm a strong black woman, that actually sometimes turns a man away.
Okay, come through, married and engaged. I feel like you guys understand.
I think that it's all how you look at it. That's why I'm a firm believer that every married couple should have a joint bank account. You may have your other bank accounts, but you should have a joint bank account so that you pay things out of there, and it's not like, oh, the wife paid more or the husband paid more. But I think that it's a mindset, like you said, you should have, but no one should be saying I'm the boss. Or the problem is when we do make more money, then you automatically have this thing thinking I'm the boss, when you can make all the money in the world but be terrible with how you handle it, right? And so your spouse can handle it great, you just make it, and they handling it, they're paying bills, they're making sure you have, they're saving. And I think that you have to communicate, and you have to understand that this is my situation. A lot of times I feel like couples get in situations, it's like, it's shocking. You knew you made more money than her, or you knew she made more money than you before you got in this situation. Understand that this is my situation. Don't be upset if somebody else knows your situation, then you're trying to be like, oh, well, yeah, she make more money than me, but you know, I do X, Y, Z. You don't need that. It needs to be between you and your spouse, and you deal with that accordingly. If you are a woman who knows that because you make more money and a man doesn't make as much as you can't handle it, then don't marry them. Right. Don't get out of that situation. Yeah. Because you know, if you're dating somebody and you're like, oh, this is not gonna work, then you need to bow out gracefully and go find what works for you. Oh, wow. You know?
That's good. Yeah. Now let me ask y'all this. Can a woman be with a man who doesn't desire financial success?
Yes, women are with men now like that. Now let's change the question. Can I be with a man that doesn't desire? The answer is absolutely not. You know, I don't think that it would work. Like I said, it goes back to having the same common goal, and we both have to desire and want more. I mean, not every week, I mean daily. Yesterday we want more than we had today. We want more, and it's always something that you have to have a good communication between you guys to discuss that. So like I was saying, if I was in a relationship and I found that out and stuff, I guess that's why half of them didn't work. We not moving forward, you know, so we won't have a relationship. So I think, yes, you definitely have to. You have to.
As we have stated before, no Build-A-Bears and no Build-A-Men. Right. No, you have to aspire to want to have for yourself. I'm sorry, so me, it's not gonna work. Don't even try. Right. But I think, you know, and I'm gonna share this. You know, when you are single, you have different people that might come and try to talk to you. Mm-hmm. So I had this one individual come to me, and he was like, you know, I found you really, you are a wonderful, beautiful woman, and I was just wondering if I could get to know you. I said, well, what do you do? Well, you know, I'm a barber, and I can do this, but, you know, I didn't go to school, and I don't make much money, but I see what you driving, and I think we could be a good match. I said,
now I see what you driving.
No. That was like red flag, red flag, red flag. You trying to connect to something that's already, you know, in place. I would say, I don't think so, but it's nice to meet you.
You know what, those type of men, and he probably was thinking, oh yeah, I could be behind there driving that too. Like, right. Nope, you keep driving your legs.
And he didn't have a vehicle, so you're absolutely right.
Oh my gosh.
I think. Oh, go ahead. I think. Well, I know for me it's a no in English and a no in Spanish. So, because. You know, I've been broke before, and I don't ever want to be broke again. Right. Yeah. So if who you with can't build with you, for me, that's going to be no, because I know the stress of that. I know the struggle of that. I know how it feels to not know, like, oh, you know, people might see you a certain way, but, oh, gosh, I really have like $2 in my bank account. How I'm making it this week. I don't even know how I get gas, you know. But I do feel like people are with people like that because they need something else. So financially, until they need finances, you know, they need something else until they need it. Yeah. So they need love, or they want the love, or they want the time that they give them, or whatever it is that this person gives them until they need to move forward. Then they're like, okay, well, you're going to get a better job, or you're going to try to, you know, whatever it is. But I think for the most part, No, because everybody should want to excel. Right. Everybody should want to build and go forward.
I think that it matters what the person's definition of financial success is. Like sometimes it's just the bills being met, or do they have a longer term plan, or do you want, to own multiple homes, or whatever your that person's definition is. And then to me, does your drive match where you want to end up? So it'd be great for you to have this, pie in the sky, picture of financial success for you. But if I see you, even in dating engagement, I don't see you doing anything towards that, then we need to reevaluate our definition of financial success.
Ambition.
Which do y'all think is more important, or which is more important to you? Is it the respect or the appreciation?
Well, for me, that's a good question. I think respect and appreciation is needed in a relationship, especially to build a relationship. I think respect kind of set that foundation, and then appreciation builds. So I don't think one is more important than the other. I think that both is needed, because one is kind of setting that, foundation, help opening up that trust and, things like that. And then appreciation just builds the relationship.
I agree. I think that they're equal. Well, sometimes equal, but I think that I would want to have the respect, because if you respect me, then you'll appreciate 9 times out of 10, we hope, me in life. But if you just appreciate me, it will probably be only on the things that I do, or the things that I give. So I feel like I want the respect first, and then that was a really good question, but yeah.
I think the important thing of the two is how. How do you respect me, or how do you appreciate me? And it being a way that I can recognize or identify. Like, you don't appreciate me the way you want to show appreciation, but in a way that I can honor, receive. What's valuable to me? Are you doing something to restore that to me, to show that appreciation? How do you respect me? Do you respect me to my face only? Or are you consistent with that respect, whether you're at the workplace, whether you're at church, whether you're at the gas station, wherever? So it's about the how for me.
And I think that will go back to you have to know your love language as far as your mate. So for me, I said this before, I don't cook. So I know my husband shows his appreciation, and he definitely respects me too, but I think he shows his appreciation by cooking, so I value that. I think that it's a balance. For me, if you don't respect me, then you're not going to show me any appreciation. If you don't appreciate me, then you're lacking the respect. So I think they go hand in hand, and I love both of them. So
I believe respect maintains the relationship, and appreciation sustains it and builds it. Because, as you said, Dawn, to me, it goes hand in hand. So if you're not respecting me, then you're not equipped to show me appreciation, because you don't value who and whose I am. So that is, how I feel about that. I think, and it goes both ways, I don't think one person, I don't think the female nor the male should respect more or less, or show more or less appreciation. There should be a balance with that as well.
Okay, now really quick, do y'all think, in your opinion, do you think the man or the woman faces more cultural pressures when it comes to relationships?
I think, you said relationships. I thought you was going to ask something else. It could be both.
Okay.
It could be both. I think they can, it depends on the relationship. So I think it could be both pressure.
I think the woman.
You think so? I think both, because the expectations sometimes that women have for the man, and then the man has a certain expectation also of the woman. So I think it depends on the person or relationship.
So when you ask that question, are we talking about the cultural pressures in terms of relationship growth from being single and engaged to married, or are we talking about, where exactly are we focused?
It would have been in the relationship period, but unfortunately we are out of time. So this would be a topic that we would have to have afterwards once we're off air. we do want to take the time to thank Pastor Tony and Victorious Ministries for allowing us to be a part of the vision. To our viewers, have more conversation about this. Y'all chat in your homes about this topic. Until next time, bye-bye.